Hello, William & Mary. My name is Kaitlyn, and I am a graduate of the class of 2012, and I want to talk to you about mental health at the college. First and foremost, I wish that I had a better way of expressing to you how I feel for all the people who are having to deal with the death of Paul Souter. I didn't know him personally because I graduated 2 years before he even came to the college, but I do know people who did know him, and just from my own Facebook stalking, he seems like an incredible person, and I know that you guys are going through so much pain. What strikes me about this whole situation, and the reason I feel like I need to make a video, is because every year that I was in the college, and even the years after I was in the college, someone committed suicide every year. And this hurts me every time I read Ginger Ambler's email and realize that this has happened in our community again, because I could have been one of those people. I could have been the cause for one of those emails. While I was at the college, I dealt with some pretty extreme clinical depression and was plagued by thoughts of suicide. It took about 6 months after graduating until I finally went to a doctor and was put on the appropriate medication and got into therapy, and I now no longer want to kill myself all the time, which is a really great thing for me, but was pretty much something that I dealt with since I was 13 years old. I'm a perfectionist and a competitor, and I want everything to be 110%. And so I went to William & Mary, where I met a lot of people who were very similar to me. It's hard to know how I feel about everything regarding William & Mary right now, because on the one hand you have people who are like, this is the college's fault, it's the culture's fault. And then you have others who are like, no, William & Mary is a great school and this is a terrible situation, but it's not their fault. And I see emails from students asking a professor to postpone an exam because they're having a really hard time dealing with their grief, and the professor is just like, no. 2 sentences with the basic no, like not even come into my office and let's talk about it. I had some really dark times while I was at the college, and while I can look back on it now with love and pride, at the time, sometimes I really hated it. I hated that every year someone was feeling so hopeless that they had to kill themselves, and I hated that I wanted to kill myself sometimes too. I started an organization while I was there called Color Me Stress Free, where basically people would get together and color in coloring books while watching cartoons. The basic premise was to just stop for a little bit and breathe and do something fun and therapeutic. But looking back now, what I wish it could have been was a safe place to talk about your stresses. And unfortunately, that organization died with my graduation. When a suicide occurs, we very much want to find a reason and to place blame in some way, somewhere, because we need that to cling to understand. If you knew Paul, you're thinking, what did I do? Or what did I not do? Or what did I not see? How could I have stopped this in some way? And if you didn't know Paul, then you're looking somewhere else to place that blame, like the administration or the culture or the nation or the world. And I think the truth is that it's everyone's fault and no one's fault at the same time. I started making YouTube videos in 2011, doing what I like to call writing a love letter to my 13-year-old self. And my 13-year-old self thought that she was ugly and friendless, and she just wanted to die. And that same girl grew up to graduate high school as salutatorian and to get accepted to William & Mary and to strive to make straight A's at William & Mary and did that even, but she was miserable all the time and she felt like she didn't have friends. But I know now that the things I told myself, that I was ugly, or that I was friendless, or that I couldn't even make friends if I tried because I was a weirdo, or that no one would love me or even notice me unless I made straight A's and was perfect in everything that I did, or even that my family and friends, the whole world, would be better off if I was just dead. I know now that those were lies that I was telling myself, and so I make videos to make sure that anyone who watches knows that too. I know now that those were lies I was telling myself, and so I make videos to make sure that no one else believes those lies. But I'm just one tiny speck in the whole world, or even in the William & Mary community. But you're who watching, you're another speck too, and when you start adding more and more specks together, you get a full thing. Something that people will start to notice, and that's what we need. Lashing out at administration is not really gonna change what needs to be changed. Like, yes, the William & Mary community and culture does seem to breed suicide, but it's not for the reasons that you think. There's suicide everywhere. We just happen to have a very high population of perfectionists. What we need is more people standing up, and that means students and faculty and alumni and even President Reevely. Honesty is my policy in my videos. I am honest about the hard things that I go through because I know that there's someone else out there who's going through something very similar. And they think that they're alone, but they are not. And the only way that they can know that they're not alone is if you tell them. It's hard. It's so hard when you're in that deep, dark pit to come out and say, help me, please, I need help. Sometimes we think that we're asking for help, but it's usually not obvious to the normal person. Like, why doesn't he notice that I'm angry all the time? Doesn't he notice that that's different, that something's wrong? When maybe he just thinks you're having a bad week, but it's much, much bigger than a bad week. I once met someone and they asked me where I went to school, and I said William and Mary, with pride, because I'm very proud of having gone to such a prestigious school. And their response was, oh, so you jumped on the old hamster wheel, did you? And I found it a very degrading way to refer to the college, because although it might feel like a hamster wheel where we're just test-taking machines sometimes, I'm the only one that gets to say that because I've experienced that. But you who don't know anything about William and Mary, who's never been there, who hasn't gone there at all, you don't get to say that. But you know, the reason people say that about our school is because we're not standing up enough for one another. Not enough of us are standing up and saying that things need to change in the good times, not just in the bad times. But I am challenging you to do that right now, even though this is technically one of the bad times. I don't care how you do it, even if it's just talking to one person sitting alone at the cafe at dinner. I did that a lot during my senior year, during some of my darkest times. I would have a book or stay on my phone, but really I just wanted to talk to someone. Or maybe it's making a video or writing a blog post to tell your story too. Maybe we should just try our hardest to make sure that no one else dies. Just know that it starts with you. I send my love to everyone in the William and Mary community. I know you all are hurting now for different reasons, but I love you. Try pride.